Hey everyone, it is the first week of May and the garden is growing. We did have a little bit of a setback, but it recovered, and I'm just going to bring you along, show you where we're at on things, what we're doing, and how soon it will be before we're able to start picking some items. Look at these plants, holy moly. These zucchini are looking wonderful. They're very happy. This bed was the bed that I had worked with all the grass and tilled and pulled. And then I finally planted the plants in here, and I put some cardboard. You can still see some of the cardboard down in there to try to keep the grass down and try to hold a little moisture in here. I do have sprinkler system inside here, some knobs in here. But so far it's been raining so much that I haven't really had to use them. See, what else can I tell you? These are starting to put on blooms. All the plants, if you look over there, you can see blooms. So it won't be much longer, and these will start having these beautiful yellow blooms on them. And then the bees and the insects will come in here, and within 2 weeks, I'll probably have zucchini started. Now, there was a spot here, and I like also to have yellow squash. I got to looking, and I didn't have any. So I did plant, there's 3 seeds in here, and I planted those day before yesterday. So hopefully those will start popping up, and I can get a couple of yellow squash growing in here. Zucchini and squash are a vegetable that is so easy to grow. Now, once the heat gets here, they do have difficulties. You have to trim things back to make sure to get airflow in there. They do have a tendency to get gray mold if you're not careful with it, but there are antifungals that you can use. I may mix some of it up and show you guys how I mix some up as a homemade one and test it and see how those do over the years. But if you're in an apartment, or if you're just trying to do this in a small situation, you can buy 3 to 6 plants, put them in decent sized buckets, and grow them on your porch. They're actually a beautiful plant. They make beautiful yellow blooms, and you can just pick them really easy right there out of pots. These are great plants if you're doing pots. Now, if you're not, and you're going to try to do them in raised beds, they do wonderful also. Not a major problem here, and they make so much fruit. You'll be feeding all your friends, your neighbors, and everybody else with zucchinis out of 6 plants. There's a spot here where there's nothing planted, so I did take and plant crooked necks. And as a matter of fact, one of the seeds is washed up. It's right there. So there are yellow crooked neck squash. There's 3 of them. There's seeds in the ground right there. So hopefully those will produce soon. Green beans are something that we eat a lot of here at our house. Not only do we eat it, our dogs eat it. We supplement and include green beans with their food to help with, especially with these labs that love to eat so much, and they'll eat until they just can't eat anything else. We'll add them green beans to help as a filler. So we grow lots of green beans, and then I can or freeze them. So we have lots of green beans this year. And remember when I said earlier on a previous video that I was doing away with the generic every item I could find planting and testing. I went with items this year that I knew I can grow, that do well in my climate, and that we're going to eat. And green beans is the one. So this year we took whole beans. These are Kentucky Wonders. I have Kentucky Wonder, and I have Jackson something. I can't remember what it's called. But Kentucky Wonders. And so we've got them growing on these cattle panels. We took these cattle panels, put them in between the raised beds, and made an arch. So they're growing up. That one's almost to the top. And we have one over there that is all the way up to the top. So these won't be long, and they'll be starting to produce. In this bed, I also planted some lima beans. Well, they didn't come up really well, but a few have. So the few that did come up are still here. I went in and I replanted So hopefully those will be coming up soon. Those seeds were about 3 years old, so I needed to get rid of those seeds anyway. So I planted them, sold them real heavy in this bed. So hopefully they'll come up soon. This is another peach that is producing. Still, it's kind of a small plant, but I think this is a dwarf version, and it has some on it. So this year, since it's been planted 2 years, this will be the 3rd year it's been planted here. We're gonna let it fruit and see what happens. Still got another plum that did not do anything, but looks like we're gonna have peaches and possibly some apples this year. The blackberry patch is doing well. You can see they're starting to now get a little color to them, getting this red going, and then they will turn black. Some of those are even getting some darker colors in them right now. But these are doing well and just really loaded. After these start coming off, then we will start working on getting some of these bent over and try to propagate some more plants, because we want to run blackberries along this whole fence. So hopefully we can get that done this year and get enough rooted that those are going to be delicious. Excited and can't wait to pick those. The other thing that's doing really well this year and did not do anything last year is the blueberries. This year they're actually putting quite a bit on. Last year they produced, but like I said, we did not water like we should have, and they just dried up and withered off. But the blueberries seem to be doing really well this year. This plant here is really loaded, and this one has a few. I only have 3 blueberry bushes out here in this orchard area. I have 3 more plants up closer to the house. This one never produced any, so we're gonna have to make a run over to Hot Springs and get some more blueberry bushes from my buddy over there. The plums still never produced anything. Just green and producing lots of that, but no fruit on it. Now peaches have done well. This plant, last year we took all of the fruit off as it was developing. This year we decided, okay, we're gonna let it do what it does. If it produces anything, it looks like there's 4 peaches on here. So we will see what happens to it. This is the Golden Delicious, or the Yellow Delicious apples. And I'm not sure what's going on with the leaves on this thing, but some of the leaves are turning brown. If any of you have any idea what I need to do with this, let me know. But it did produce, it's producing quite a few apples, but my leaves are turning, well, some of them are turning brown, so I'm not sure what's going on with those. It's kind of got me concerned. In this long bed I have here, this is where I had the problems with the geese. They got in here, the green beans were growing well, and you know, you can see the ones running up the trellis. These should be at the same level. However, the geese got in here and they nipped off all of the greens off of those. So fortunately, I didn't have to replant them. They are recovering from that, and they are nice and green and growing very well. That whole row's doing well. I did throw some tomatoes in between them because I have way too many tomatoes this year. And then this here is purple hulls. They're always really good at producing, so I will make this row, and then I'll make another row a couple weeks later, probably next week I will plant more so I can have some succession planting here. This is another one of those other beds that I have fought with the grass. Put tomatoes in here. Now these tomatoes were much taller than they appear to be in here. I dug them deep, planted them deep, and now they're starting to actually get some height on them. Won't be long and I'm gonna have to stake them so that they will be doing well here. I also have some more peppers in here, and this is sage from last year, and I made a huge mistake. A gentleman gave me one plant and this whole bed was full of them. We just mowed right there. This whole area was covered in it, and it has spread into even the weed barrier. So that sage, if you're going to plant sage, you might want to be aware that that stuff will take over quick. It doesn't take a lot to grow your own vegetables. If you're in an apartment or if you're in a rental property where you can't till up the ground or you can't go and you put raised beds in it, then get you some pots. It doesn't take a whole lot to do that. I do have strawberries in pots. This year I decided to do that, and I'm gonna give it a shot. Me and strawberries, that is the one thing I have a hard time with. So I'm gonna try the strawberries this year in pots. They're doing okay. I had them on the porch. They were producing some really tiny strawberries. So I have now moved them out, and they're hanging off the trellises there because tonight we're going to have some rain. That way I can give them what God put on this earth, what God is wanting them to be watered with, not what I've been watering them with. You know, it is always going to be better to use rainwater as opposed to using tap water. Tap water has chlorine in it. Our tap water has fluoride in it. And those things kind of stunt the plants. But take your time and grow a couple things. It doesn't cost a whole lot to go to your local nursery, even Walmart or Lowe's, in which I don't recommend it, but I recommend using and supporting your local florist or a nursery, and getting a container that has a few zucchinis in it or a few squash, and put those in pots and on your porch or outside and just water them. Those are such easy plants to grow, and they make so much vegetables, and you will be able to feed yourself and a couple other people and give to other family members. And it doesn't cost a whole lot, and it's not difficult to do. Another thing you can grow is tomatoes. You know, I remember a few years ago they were hanging those upside down ones and doing that. That's fine. Do whatever you want to do, but produce something. Cherry tomatoes are very easy. They come off very quick. If you like slicers, then get Better Boys or something of that nature. If you're planning on growing something where you want to make sauces, then get Romas. But just get a couple plants, get them in the dirt, and just put them in pots if you have to, and try it. It doesn't take a whole lot of work. Pick up a little fertilizer, get you, if you have to, and I know some of y'all are going to throw a fit, but get some Miracle-Gro. If that's what you have, that's what you have. And use that and feed them weekly with fertilizer with Miracle-Gro, if that's what you have to do. The organic people will say, oh, don't listen to that shit. Do what you need to do. Okay, if that's what you have, then use it. But anyway it goes, try to start producing some fruit and vegetables on your own. Another plant that I would highly suggest that you not try to grow in pots is green beans or any kind of pole beans that grow. Now I see these all the time on some of these videos, and where people are in different locations than in the South, and they've got these beautiful raised or beautiful growing green beans and stuff inside pots, and they're beautiful and they're producing a few. Well, if it's just you, then that's great. You may get enough to make a few meals, but if you've got a family, you need a little bit more than that. So know what vegetables grow good in pots and in the small areas, and then grow those. Get yourself used to it so that you can get comfortable with it, and then step out and do more growing. But the thing is, it is such a wonderful thing. Kids love to do it. Kids love to dig in dirt. It's a wonderful thing to do. One of my favorite things is to take my shoes off and walk in the garden. Just connecting with God, connecting with nature. There's nothing wrong with that. This is what we were meant to do. He gave us these seeds. Let's get them out there and let's grow and produce. Especially now, since we're having so many problems with China and some of the other places. You better learn to start growing some of your own vegetables. Animals are a whole different ballgame. I don't like growing my own animals because I get attached, and I don't do well with that. So it's not something that I like to do. Get some chickens if you can. A lot of your local neighborhoods will allow chickens as long as you don't have a rooster. They don't have a problem with the animals. They have the problem with the noise. So you can't have a rooster, but you can have hens. And then do that and share some of your eggs with your neighbors to keep them from reporting you or complaining. But anyway it goes, just do what you can. It's wonderful. It's good for your soul to get out there and grow something and plant what you can. If you have any questions, concerns, leave me a message. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Just get going, guys, and do what you can. Remember, today's dreams are tomorrow's futures. Take care. Bye.